Alright, good people. Hope you had a good weekend here, but we'll jump into the weekly watch list video for the week of April 25th. Before we jump in though, guys, go on ahead and make sure you register for this Wednesday's webinar, and I'll make sure we got the link here in the description. We'll be talking a little bit about the current market, what's working, what's not working, some changes we've made, and we'll talk a little bit about these buy signals and these sell signals. Now, the nice thing about these buy signals and these sell signals is, big plate of opportunity on both sides, but quite frankly at the moment, guys, it's looking like the short side is going to be the side of the market that offers the most opportunity. So what I'm doing here tonight is updating the watch list for the mastery members. And what I'm putting on this watch list here is, bullish watch list and a bearish watch list. Everything on the bullish watch list has my buy signals. Everything on the bearish watch list has the sell signals. So obviously you can see the bearish watch list little bit bigger than the bullish watch list. This is a change here for the last few weeks. It's been XLP, the materials, it's been the agriculture, it's been the commodities, energy, a lot of buy signals to the upside. Things changed a little bit last week. So in terms of the overall market, I've got sell signals here on the S&Ps. Got them on the QQQ. We got them on the small caps. We got the sell signals here on the Dow Jones. And then as far as the sectors go, semiconductors got the sell signals, big tech sell signals, the financials, the industrials, the transports, the consumer discretionary, the home builders. Nasty stuff, guys. So the key here is to there's a few different keys. One being don't have any bias. Right? If you got buy signals, you buy the dip. If you got sell signals, you got to short the bounce. And that's the other key. You have to short the bounce. So looking at the S&P 500, it's a short, based on trend, structure, momentum on the weekly and the daily chart. But we're not going to short it down here at -2 ATR. If it was bullish, and we can flip it upside down and look at the inverse chart, even if it was bullish and it looked like this, we wouldn't buy it up here. We would buy that on the pullback. So you definitely want to be a little bit careful about shorting down here at -2 ATR. That goes to the S&Ps, it goes to the semis. Realistically, it goes for a lot of the names that I would like to short. So that kind of puts me in a position where I got to wait for some bounces here. And if you look at the put-call ratio, the P-call, anytime this is spiking up here towards 1, tends to mean that a lot of folks are getting short. And not always, but a lot of times what the market loves to do when people are leaning short, as we know, is squeeze the shorts. So this is where you got to be a little bit careful. If you look back, early March, everything's ugly, the market is super bearish, but we're down there at -2 ATR. Then you got the epic short squeeze. And if you look at the put call from back in early March, we're popping up here towards 1. So it's a little bit higher now. The point being, guys, is be careful. But if you have the sell signals, short the bounces into the 21 EMA. So I'll show you a few things here. But a lot of what was looking pretty good, as far as like a bullish trend goes, got hit pretty hard last week. So look at the material sector, XLB. Just totally gets wiped out there. Goes from being one of the better structures, nice bullish daily squeeze with buy signals, to really breaking down here. Then you got the healthcare sector. So XLV was on the buy the dip watch list, and you got some sell signals and a pretty nasty flush there on Friday. And then if you look at energy, this is going to be the interesting one. We do have some Oxy. So we've got some Oxy going into tomorrow. So we do have some exposure here in both rooms in XLE. Here's a few issues. It did hold the weekly AEMA into the weekend, which I think is a really important level. Now if we break the weekly AEMA, probably sets up for a flush down towards that weekly 21 around $70. So it holds on Friday, but if you guys look at this, momentum did shift on the daily chart. With the red 10x bar, we no longer have, let me clean this up, we no longer have the buy signals and you got your first close in, let's call it a month, under that daily 21 EMA. So it's not so much an energy thing. If the market is just really going to enter a point, or a period rather, of liquidation, everything is liable to catch it on the chin. So here's my game plan. For those of you in the mastery, for those of you in the options room, if you took the Oxy position with me, we're going to cut that if it trades under the weekly AEMA. But what I think we also might want to do is be open-minded here to the idea of trying to short energy, which again sounds a little bit crazy based on everything we've been talking about for the last few weeks here. But you have to make quick adjustments. So if things are looking ugly tomorrow, something like a 75-70 put debit spread for May expiration on XLE. If you could snag that for about $1.40, pretty good risk reward. So if you were to get the flush down there to the weekly 21, you could take home 100-200%. So there might be a trade there, but we'll see how it holds up. XLB did not hold up. XLV did not hold up. And then XLP consumer staples, they do hold up for now. So we'll be patient buying the dip there. But alright guys, I want to show you a few potential shorts. And in terms of the sell signals, it's a pretty long watch list. So what I want to show you are a few names that, if you could get a little bounce tomorrow, maybe you could take action. Because in terms of shorting the S&P, we're going to need a pretty big bounce. Back towards 4350, 4400. It can happen pretty quick. But a few names to show you here. So we did open a few shorts there on Friday. One being on Nike. So I'll show you Nike here. No daily squeeze. However, let me come over here. There's a bigger time frame, 3-day squeeze, and then a few lower time frame squeezes here. We got no stacked DMAs, we got sell signals. We're looking for Nike to flush down to about 124, maybe even a little bit lower, and we're going to have our exit on a close above 134, 135. If it closes above the weekly AEMA, we're going to cut that loose. So we got a short on Nike, and then we got a short here on Friday on FedEx, FDX. You got the bounce back to the 21 EMA. You got the rejection. We have the sell signals. We have negatively stacked DMAs, bearish momentum, and you have a pretty bearish 4-hour squeeze. So if that can fire a short, we're looking for a flush down under $200. So we got some Nike, we got some FedEx. Not a group trade, but I do have a short position in Uber. Looking for a push down this week towards 29.80-ish. And then a few more for you guys. So one that came up on the sell signal scan results tonight was Crowd. CRWD. Now keep in mind, if the market bounces, so if the S&P bounces, the Qs bounce, pretty much everything should bounce. But in terms of where can we get short, with a better entry, I like Crowd here. Fresh sell signal. Histogram just turned negative on Friday. And if you could catch maybe a 15-minute, 30-minute squeeze firing short, could be pretty good here for a move down towards 195-ish. So we're going to keep an eye on Crowd. Next up here is Ferrari, RACE. Sell signals, daily squeeze, histogram just turned negative. Could be good for a flush down towards 200. But keep in mind, you got earnings coming up here pretty soon. So RACE looks like a pretty good short. Next up here is VFC, VF Corp. Pretty bearish, with negatively stacked DMAs on the weekly and the daily. Red 10x bars, sell signals, and a 3-day daily 4-hour squeeze that I think could fire short. So on VF, I think you look for a short down to about 52, maybe 51. So that looks pretty poised to move lower. Next up here, guys, is BBY, Best Buy, with what I think is a bearish daily squeeze and a bearish 4-hour squeeze. So on BBY, I would look for a flush down towards 85. I kind of like that one. Might try to jump into that tomorrow morning. Next up is KB. This is a financial negative histogram. Sell signals in the daily squeeze. Then you've got Yum, looking pretty yummy for a short. Earnings is going to be on May 3rd. So keep that in mind. But you got negatively stacked EMAs. We got sell signals and the histogram rolling over to the downside. Next up here, guys, is TCOM, which is trip.com. Yeah, I'd prefer to short the QQQ. I'd prefer to short the SPX. You're probably going to have more liquidity. But I tell you what, looks like a pretty good short here. So there's a few examples, guys. TCOM, Nike, FedEx, YUMC, KB, BBY, and then one more for the road here. CCL, which is Carnival Corpse. But there you have it, y'all. So if over the last month or so, if you've gotten use from these videos, if you're taking any action on the suggestions with the buy signals, or if you're taking any action on suggestions here with the sell signals, and you want to learn a little bit more, check out the webinar on Friday. Basically what I'm doing here is, because we're still working on the indicator, is that every day I'm running my scans bullish and bearish, and then what I'm doing for the mastery members is giving them a watch list, with nothing but buy signals and sell signals. And it's pretty simple. If it's on the bullish watch list, we buy the dip to the 21 EMA. If it's on that bearish watch list, we short that shit on the bounce. But alright, guys, it is NBA playoff season. My Celtics are up 3-0 on you Brooklyn Nets. So I'm going to let you go here, go watch a little bit of hoops before bedtime. And then we're getting back to work tomorrow. So as always, I appreciate y'all watching. If you haven't already, go on ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment down below. Take your dog for a walk tonight, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning for pre-market prep.